everyone. Welcome to Lives Worth Telling. I'm your host, Jodes, and my podcast is about digging deep into people's stories and providing them with a platform to share their life and their experiences with my listeners. One of the key reasons in creating this podcast is so their families and friends can have a record of their life, their stories, and their voice forever. One of my favourite things is hearing about people's stories, their triumphs, their hardships, but most of all, I love hearing about their resilience. I really hope you enjoy listening to my guests share their lives with you. I want you to have a few laughs and allow yourself to be immersed in their stories. Welcome to episode 7 of season 2 of Lives Worth Telling. Welcome to our new listeners in Stockholm and Nashville, Tennessee. We continue to pick up listeners in several cities across Ohio in the US. Thank you to our dedicated listeners that listen to every single episode. So today we are on location and we meet the very inspiring River. She is 17 years old and has faced some incredibly difficult times in her life. She was diagnosed with ADHD and autism in her early teens and has navigated this so well. She is very engaging and thoughtful as she discusses her passions in life. This episode gives insight into what our younger generations are dealing with and thinking about. So sit back and listen to the wonderfully inspiring and very charismatic River. Enjoy. Ooh, today I am going to be talking to probably my youngest guest at 17 years young. And this person is also a relative of two of our other episodes. I'm going to say welcome to you, River.
Hi, Jodie. Very excited to be here.
Oh, my gosh. Not many people your age offer up for a gig such as this.
Yep.
But look, the questions that we've got today are a combination of some of my previous questions, but also relative to your age. Being so young compared to all the old chooks that I have, not including your mum and dad, but
including them.
So just going to kick off with tell me about yourself and your family and a bit about your background.
Wow. Okay. I'm River. I'm 17, turning 18 in June. Very exciting.
Stop it.
I just adopted a new dog that my parents paid for my birthday.
She's beautiful.
Her name's Daisy.
She's so sweet.
What else? I'm doing VCE in high school, which is a trial.
Yes.
Year 12 this year.
Oh.
Very scary.
Yes. The last year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What else? Yeah. Mum and Dad have both been on the podcast.
Yes, they have.
Episodes.
They have.
Mum was season 2, episode 3, and Dad was season 1, episode 2.
Yes.
Yep.
So, do you have any, I guess, retorts from anything they've said about you that we can cover? That no, that's not true. That's not how it happened. Is there anything you went? No,
not really. They just didn't mention me enough, I think. They all say, well, you're the light of my life. Well,
oh, they were totally winking, you know. Yes, that's so good. And there's so much to cover, like, as, you know, even in your dad's, there was a person he didn't mention and he went, oh, but it's kind of, the time rolls and it goes quickly. So where were you born?
I was born... I wrote this down because I keep forgetting. Monash Medical Centre in Clayton, where Mum worked at the time.
Yes.
Very interesting. Yeah.
So were there any of your family friends at your birth from Monash at the time?
I don't think she's actually friends with many people from there.
Yes.
She has work friends and I love them.
Yes.
But, yeah. So, no.
That's so good. So. That's so good. Imagine being born at your mum's work.
No.
Oof. I don't think many people could claim that.
Nope.
So my next one, and I know this is a big one for you, River, and how long should we in life for this one? Describe what school is like for you, and do you like school? Do you know what? I speak to a lot of adults and none of them like school. Okay, very, very small percentage did. They like primary school, not so much high school.
Yeah, see,
but over to you.
I loved primary school. Primary school was an absolute breeze for me.
Yes.
An important thing to note about my schooling journey is that I more recently got diagnosed with ADHD and autism.
Yes.
Which very heavily affected me going into high school.
Yeah.
Primary school was fairly easy because, fortunately enough, not to brag, but I was a smart kid.
Yeah.
So it was just, didn't have to really listen that hard. I just picked it up.
Yeah.
And then I went to high school, my first high school of 6 or 7.
Okay.
On my 6th or 7th now.
Yes.
And year 7 was 2020. So that's when...
yes. Oh, it was a good year, wasn't it, River?
it was
the best
fantabulous.
for everyone.
Yeah, so we went into online learning. And for someone with undiagnosed ADHD at the time, I could not sit at that laptop and just write stuff down.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I was lazy or that I wasn't trying, because I was trying really hard.
Yeah.
But because I just couldn't sit there and do it, I fell really far behind.
Okay.
So when we got out of the first lockdown...
there were so many.
Yeah, we got out of the first couple lockdowns. I was so far behind in school, which made me feel less.
Yeah.
Because my self-worth had been inadvertently tied to my ability to be really smart.
Yeah.
And then I get to year 7 and I'm in the advanced class, so we're doing year 8 math instead.
Yeah, okay.
And all of these kids, they're so smart. And so they're breezing through it. And I'm just like, I don't understand any of this, because I actually had to listen to what the teacher was saying.
Yeah. And
I couldn't sit there and do that.
Okay.
I had to be drawing or like doing something.
Yeah. Is there a part of you that you look back from primary school and see that the concentration and things were difficult for you, or was it?
Yeah. I remember zoning out so much in primary school. Like you look back on, it's interesting getting diagnosed when you're more self-aware.
Yeah.
Is you look back and you go, oh my God, how did they not see this?
Yes.
But obviously my parents, I'm an only child, so they didn't have me to compare to anyone.
True.
My mum, pretty sure, also has ADHD. So this is all like, this is normal. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. So no one had picked it up like through...
Interesting. In year 4, I wouldn't sit in it. Oh, Daisy, you're okay. I couldn't sit in a chair and do work. I had to be stood up.
Okay.
And my teacher at the time said, oh, you might want to get her checked for... I wasn't there. This was during a parent-teacher interview.
Okay.
But you might want to get her checked for, like, ADHD, but, like, what are they going to do? Medicate her. If he hadn't said the second half of that sentence, I could have gotten diagnosed several years earlier.
Jeez.
It's so interesting. It's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
There's, like, one thing changes and my whole life could have been different.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm quite happy with the life I'm living now.
So when you were moving through year 7 and you've fallen behind...
Yeah.
And you've, I guess, coming into the end of grade 6, you're feeling like a rock star, you're like.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I was living
now
the life.
what? Like at that point.
So I guess to year 7, I made friends. I was already slightly struggling with school.
Okay.
And then I struggled a lot more socially because I was falling behind, I had severe anxiety around going to school.
Yeah.
Because I knew the teachers were going to be like, River, where's this work? River, where's this work?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. Yeah.
And that's such a shame because you know your potential.
I'm like, I know I can do it, but I just couldn't make myself sit at the laptop and do it.
Yeah.
Because there were so many other things going on.
Yes.
Like I could talk to my friends on my phone, which I did through, what was it at the time? House Party? Or something. It was like a video chat app. And so I'd have my friends on a call and we'd be chatting instead of listening to the teacher. Which, you know what? I wouldn't have been listening to the teacher anyway.
Yes.
I learned very quickly that if you right-click the tab, there's a little mute button so you can mute the tab. Can't hear him.
I'd like to do that with some adults.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. So year 7, So you're saying you had several schools. So did you?
So year 7, I went to the same school. And then term 1, year 8, I basically went 2 days that term. And so my parents were freaking out. I was like, I'm living the life, because every time I would get dressed, get in the car, go to school, and then refuse to get out of the car. Like I'd have a panic attack at school, and my mum, the lovely, some parents would be like, suck it up, you got to go.
Yeah.
But my mum she's very empathetic, very understanding.
Yes.
And she didn't make me, which I am so fortunate, thankful for her for that.
Yeah.
Because I love school. I love learning. And that just would have made me resent school and her. Yeah. And I'm really close with my mum now.
She's the best. I have to say she is the best.
And so after that, during this whole shenanigans, my mum heard about this really small other school.
Oh, yes.
Specialising in kids with disabilities.
Yeah.
And I'd recently got diagnosed with ADHD like a month prior.
Okay.
So I just started medication. Everything was... But I was still so far behind, and I was having trouble with friends, and I was just not going to that school.
Yeah.
Even walking past it today, I'm like, ugh.
Really?
I get shivers down my spine.
Really? Yeah. The impact that...
Yeah. Because I just remember how awful it was.
In terms of the environment or how you felt with your learning, or...
I think both.
The people?
The people were fairly lovely. Like, I don't have any resentment towards them. I don't have contact with any of them.
Okay.
But that's more because, like, I'm trying to move past it.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So you started at a new school then?
Yeah. I did a tour of the school, and my mum will never let me live this down. The first thought I had at that school was, it smells really nice in here.
I remember that comment.
Yep.
I remember her telling me.
And so I did the tour. I absolutely loved it. I loved the style of learning.
Okay.
Because at this particular school at the time, it changed very drastically. At the time, it was less segregated by age and more by ability.
Okay.
So if you were really good at maths, you got put in a higher maths class.
Okay.
I was in basically a maths class with like an 8-year-old.
Yeah,
She was so smart.
Yeah, right.
And they kind of ruined that, but overall.
So it started out really well.
It started out really well. And then at the end of term 2, year 8, so I'd just been getting to know all these people.
Okay.
There was a mass, like all the teachers left basically. They all resigned because it was a lot.
Oh, gee.
It's a lot of work to have to... Because in a regular school, you have maybe 1-2 disabled kids in a class.
Okay.
In this school, you had all of them.
Okay.
So they all have their own individual needs.
How many kids in the school?
There was like 20 kids in the whole school.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it was year 7 to 12?
It was kind of... It was technically year 7 to 12, but also it had younger kids.
Oh, because it didn't have year levels as such.
Yeah, no.
It was more... Okay. Yeah.
And so because of all of these new changes, most of my friends that I'd made left.
Oh, no.
Which was really hard for me.
So you were there for a year or 2 years?
Like a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. And then all of these new people came in, but by that time I'd really connected with all the kids on such a personal level.
Okay.
And none of the teachers had yet. And so I became like the go-to person for the school. If someone in the schoolyard was having an issue, even when there was, because there always is, a staff member on duty,
yes,
they would come to me first.
Oh my gosh.
I remember a specific instance. There's this one girl who was so allergic to peanuts. Like even in the same room, if you'd eaten them that day, she'd smell it and go into anaphylactic shock.
Right.
It was really serious. But the school wouldn't stop people from bringing peanuts in.
Yes.
Because, quote, it discriminated against them.
Okay.
Ridiculous, if you ask me. Especially when someone's life is on the line.
Yeah, and that's the thing with allergies and anaphylaxis is that they can't claim it's a nut-free zone because they can't guarantee. If they said don't bring nuts and one person did.
Yeah.
And it is so hard because it's a life-threatening.
But they wouldn't even say... They sent out an email being like, hey, please don't bring nuts in. But people still did.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because, you know, they forget.
Yes.
But I was very strict on this. I made my own rule, basically, and was very strict on it. So if you brought in peanut butter, I was like, nah, you got to throw it out. You can't eat it. Go wash your hands. I don't care. I'll give you some of my lunch, you know?
Yes.
It was really intense to me because she was one of my really good friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want her to die.
Of course.
Because I'd feel so guilty.
It's not just a little rash on the arm.
It's not just a little rash on the arm. It's a couple-day hospital visit.
Yeah. Good on you.
So, yeah, I remember this one specific instance when this kid brought in a peanut butter sandwich and one of the kids, who was like 10 at the time, came up to 14-year-old me and was like, River, this kid's got a peanut butter sandwich. And so I went up to him and I was like, hey, you really can't eat that. Can you go and throw it out? And because he respected me so much, he was like, yeah, of course.
Oh, so good.
He didn't even think about it until I brought it up to him. He was like, oh, yeah, of course. But what will I eat? And I was like, go ask the teacher.
You're like a teacher.
Yeah, basically. Another thing that, because I was so connected with all the students, the teachers leaned on me, which I don't blame them. To be honest, I quite blame the principal because she wasn't giving them enough support.
Okay.
But also no one wanted, like there's a teacher shortage. Like it was just a bad scenario all around.
Yes.
The one thing I do really blame them for is this. There was this girl and she was so socially anxious. And so every time she came in, they brought me out of my learning time to come and sit with her so that she could get used to the environment.
Oh.
And this was like a couple of times a week for a couple hours.
So you would say year 9 at this point?
I was in year 9.
Yeah, okay.
Starting year 9.
Okay.
So I was 14, having to basically emotionally support this girl. And she was so lovely. I don't blame her at all.
Yeah, it's not your job though, right?
It's not my job.
Yeah.
I'm 14, mate.
Wow.
Get an adult.
Yeah.
And because how much time I spent outside the classroom with this girl, there was other issues going on. There was this boy who, even now I think about him and I'm shaking. I have him blocked on everything.
Oh.
Even though this school claims to be a very safe, inclusive environment, he would say the most horrible things.
Oh, okay.
Homophobic, racist, misogynistic, just the most awful stuff. And I'd go to the teachers and I'd be like, hey, please make him stop. But there was no consequences in the school.
Mm. And it wasn't part of his disability in terms of a Tourette's or anything like that?
No,
it was
he was autistic.
Quite intentional?
But he was autistic, but he was quite well adjusted.
Yeah, okay.
He knew what he was saying was hurtful.
Okay. Gee.
He's not stupid.
Oh, gee. That's tough.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'd go to them and every time it made me so upset because no one was doing anything about it. And they were all like, yeah, we're working behind the scenes.
Mm.
Then why is he not showing any improvement? Oh, he is. He's getting better. No, he's not. I am fearful to be in a room with this guy because of what he's going to say next.
Yes. Oh,
and so because of these two, I would have been out of the classroom a lot and this guy was absolutely like basically terrorizing me. Unintentionally, intentionally, who knows?
Yeah.
And so one time at lunch, he said something really bad, and so I ran off to the toilets and I started like bawling my eyes out. And I sat there for 2 hours and no one noticed that I was gone.
Oh, River.
And when there is 10 kids in your class,
granted, someone should have noticed.
Yeah, someone should have noticed that I wasn't there, and they did. But apparently, they just thought that I was out with this girl.
Oh, of course. On your other job that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Because a support worker.
Apparently I'm a support worker. Where's my compensation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was one of the straws that the principal was very apologetic, but it should never have happened in the staff. The incident itself wasn't her fault. It was no one's fault. But the things that happened up to that point that made it occur, entirely their fault.
Jeez. So then that
for something that claims to be a place that claimed to be such a happy, welcoming place, they could have just expelled him. To be honest, it was an independent school. They had the right to do that.
Yes, agree.
And they were like, no, because where else will he go? He could have gone to regular school.
It becomes about protection of the other students.
Yeah, another thing he threatened to do was bash a year 7 autistic boy. Because this boy, he was a bit of a troublemaker, but he was well-intentioned. He was a lovely kid. But I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I showed people and they didn't do anything.
So how old was he? Was he similar age to you?
He was 14.
Yeah, okay.
This kid at the time was like 11, 12.
Oh, gee.
You know, you're old enough to know better to not.
Yeah, for sure. What's right and wrong.
That's,
right. Yeah.
That's also punching down.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I'm going to get my buddies and we're going to beat you up. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Pick on someone your own age.
Yeah, for sure. So then did that trigger then a change of school for you?
All of these incidents combined was like I started refusing to go to school again.
Of course.
And so Mum pulled me out and she started homeschooling me.
Okay.
She did all the paperwork. To be honest, we didn't do a lot of homeschooling because I don't have the internal drive to go, well, it doesn't actually matter if I pass because it's just my mum and I love her to bits, but she's not a teacher.
Yes. So that was through virtual school?
No, that was through homeschooling.
Okay.
You have to submit a bunch of paperwork and it's a whole ordeal.
Oh, my gosh.
But I'm glad she did because I would not have lasted another term.
So how long was that for?
That was for just the term 4 of year 9.
Okay.
And then start of the end of that, my best friend at the time calls me up and she goes, hey, I'm going to look at this school. Do you want to come? I go, yeah, sure. And so I go and I have a tour of this school. It's all right. It's another really small school.
Okay.
It's a government school. It was kind of like a last resort school.
Yeah.
School for teenage delinquents, if you will.
Take it easy.
Which is why I left 6 months, not even like 4 months in. So like I was halfway through term 2 at this new school.
Oh.
And
so that's not your current school?
No.
Oh, wait, did I know this? Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so halfway through like term 2 of year 10, this kid with tics, so Tourette's.
Oh, yes.
We were in home ec, in the kitchen.
Oh, no.
He was holding a knife.
Oh,
all of a sudden
no.
there was a knife in my face. And no one would do anything about it again. He could have easily moved to the other class where he had friends because he was a bit of a menace to the other kids in that specific class and no one liked him.
Oh, gee.
And so I was like, I'm not going back there. They're doing absolutely nothing to make sure that this isn't going to happen again.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, River.
Yeah. So then I did 6 months of online school.
Okay.
At which point I applied for my current school, which I absolutely love. I love it there. The teachers are great. The kids are great. I have a great community. I'm so happy there.
You got there in the end.
Got there in the end.
That's brilliant, River.
Oh my gosh,
you've been through.
I know.
You've done support worker.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
You're the OHS rep with anaphylactic children. Oh, my gosh. So now you're in year 12 and you did year 11 in year 12?
I did year 11 at this school.
Yes. And that, at what point did you think, oh, finally, somewhere I like? Was it instant?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I did the tour because I'd known about the school for a couple of years, but it is only year 11 and 12.
I gotcha.
Which, no little children to deal with.
Yes.
I don't have to support work or anyone. I don't have to deal with the year 7s.
Yes.
Delightful.
Yes, perfect.
Absolutely wonderful.
That's awesome.
Everyone's moderately, at least a little bit self-aware now.
Yeah, good.
It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. But, oh, my gosh, there's so much there. But I think, like, you can sit now and reflect on that and it is in the past. And,
after a lot of therapy.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That's huge. That's so huge. I've got some other questions for you around your background and interests.
Yeah.
And what are some memorable trips or outings you've done with your family?
My favourite 2, I'm very lucky. We're very well off.
Yes.
So we've been abroad several times. My favourite 2, start of 2019, we went to America.
Yes.
And this was during Trump's first presidency.
Oh my gosh. And here we are.
Heart goes out to current USA citizens. Goodness gracious.
Oh.
Yeah. So It was in the middle of his tantrum about not getting funding to build the wall. So he pulled funding from like national parks and stuff.
Yes.
But we went to...
Oh, where things were closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
We went to Arizona, Utah?
Yes.
We went to both of them, but we went to the Grand Canyon, and despite the fact that they were getting no funding, so they shouldn't have been open, they were open and they weren't charging people for entry, which they normally did. They were just like, yeah, on you go.
So good.
So we got to go to the Grand Canyon for free.
I do remember that.
We also paid to go on a helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon.
Amazing.
One of my favourite memories. You cannot put it into words how gorgeous it is.
So cool. The
and the sheer mass of it. It's so massive.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's like a 3 or 4 hour drive in distance.
Yeah.
Of the size of it. Like
it's crazy.
Here
and
to
there's
the
people that go on a walk through it every year. I'm like...
yeah, you could spend a lot of time there.
Low-key crazy people behaviour.
Yes. So America.
Yeah. So America, we went to Disneyland.
So good.
That was great. We went to Universal Studios with Harry Potter and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
I am a Harry Potter enjoyer. Screw J.K. Rowling, though.
Oh.
No, she's transphobic.
Oh, my gosh. And it's been such a Harry Potter is a big part of everyone's life because it captures lots of different generations from the books to the movies to
now the TV show that's in production.
Yes, I have heard.
Yeah.
So the States, and then there was another trip you were going to mention.
Yeah. Prior to the States, we went to Singapore in like 2016, 2017.
I love Singapore.
And it is so gorgeous there.
I love Singapore.
Everything about it. The massive faux trees.
Yes.
The garden.
Yes.
I remember that very vividly.
Yes.
It is so amazing.
I love Singapore. Clean. I don't know. It's an awesome city.
Yeah.
Awesome city. That's
Great.
So good. And what are someone your age and what are your hobbies or things you like to do in your free time?
I'm a very arts and crafty person.
Yes.
So I have lots of things that I pick up on and then discard for a bit and then pick it up again.
Things on the go.
I've done crochet, I've done knitting, I've done like diamond art, I've done painting.
Yes.
Of various.
So you rotate between them?
Yeah, kind of.
Pick up different projects.
Every now and again.
Yes.
What else have I done? I do a lot of jewellery making.
Okay.
In its various forms.
Yeah.
Which I quite enjoy.
Cool.
Makes great gifts.
Yes. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And you love pets.
I love animals.
Yes.
So much. We have 3 chickens and 3 dogs on our property because I live in a house with mum and dad and then my grandma lives in a flat out the back.
Yes.
So I get to see her every day. I can see her out the window now, actually.
So good. That's so good.
So she has a dog and we have 2 dogs now.
Your new little one is just gorgeous.
You're a sweetheart.
So how many days has she been here? Was it a week? No.
It's been a week.
Almost, yeah.
No,
she
it's been a whole week.
She's lived here her whole life.
Yeah.
She's so settled.
Wait, Monday, Tuesday. What's the day today?
Thursday.
11 days.
Once I start back at work, I'll know what day it is.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, what day is it? Is it Sunday? No.
And are there any subjects or activities that you feel most passionate about? What subjects? Not talking school as such, but just things that you're passionate about.
I absolutely love theatre.
Yes.
I'm a performer. I always have been since the time I was 5. I was like, Mum, I want to go on a stage. I saw The Sound of Music with my aunt. Absolutely captured me.
Yeah.
From the moment I saw it. I've been to so many musicals. Very monetarily straining hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes. For sure.
Everything's so expensive now.
That's between you and your folks with your concerts as well.
No, I know. Oh, says you with your concerts.
I know. Oh,
that's a bit
we all have a vice. Oh my gosh. And how do you like to spend your weekends? As a young person, what does a young person do these days?
Sleep a lot. I sleep a lot.
Yeah.
Because the week is because of my autism as well. Social interaction is a lot more draining.
Yes, it's very tiring.
Very tiring.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to take a nap after this. I love naps.
Yes, so do
my favourite thing to do.
River, I tell you, we have a lot in common, my dear.
Yeah, so I sleep a lot. I occasionally catch up on my homework, but probably not.
Yeah.
I'll catch up with friends.
That's good.
We often call over Discord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So with someone your age now,
Yeah.
catching up face to face isn't the preferred option, or is it?
It's my preferred option.
Yeah.
But obviously when it's like 9 o'clock at night, it's a lot easier to just hop on a call.
Yeah, true. And distance, being at a school, it's not a neighbourhood school?
It's not a neighbourhood school.
Yeah.
It's...
People come from far away.
Yeah. And they all live in Whoop Whoop. To me, they live in Whoop Whoop.
That's...
In reality, they live in like...
It's not that far.
On like the Lilydale line.
Okay.
They all live on like the Lilydale line.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. It's disgraceful. They all live near each other. And so I'm like, you guys live in Whoop Whoop. And they're like, no, River.
Who lives in Whoop Whoop? It depends where the middle point is.
Point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. So just thinking about your education and looking towards the future.
Yeah.
So I guess, do you have any specific career goals or aspirations for the future?
The big dream would be to work on Broadway or the West End.
Yes.
That's obviously unattainable for most people.
Do you have any favourite actors in shows over there, or?
I mean, at the moment, Rachel Zegler and Kit Connor in their production of Romeo and Juliet on Broadway.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I have not seen it because I am not that rich to just fly out to New York and see Broadway.
So when you went to America, did you go to New York?
We did not go to New York. Never been to Broadway or the West End.
Oh, come on. Parents.
I know, get good.
Fulfill your daughter's dream. That's really cool. That is really cool. And you know what? If you don't set the goal, who knows?
Yeah.
It doesn't say you don't achieve it. If you don't set it, you can't achieve it, right?
Exactly.
And if you could
miss
choose
100% of the shots you don't take.
That's the thing. If you could choose any profession right now, what would it be? And why? Like what would draw you to
actor.
Just musical theatre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy screen acting that much. Being on camera makes me very scared for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's so weird that I can be on stage and be filmed on the stage, and that's fine. But being on camera, no.
Yeah, isn't it funny?
Yeah, I acted in my friend's short film for their media project, and it was the most stressful experience. I was like, does my hair look right? Do I look right? Oh, my goodness. Whereas when you're on stage, you don't get that close face-to-face
for sure.
That's why stage makeup looks so crazy, because you're seeing me from 100 metres away with bright, blinding stage lights that wash everyone out.
Yes. Have you had a favourite musical that you've been in?
Oh, I did a production of Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, very cool.
A couple years ago, and I was Tweedle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was one of the Tweedles.
Yeah.
That was my favourite. Mostly because it went on for the longest. Oh. So we did 2 shows a day, 3 days a week for 2 weeks over the school holidays.
Oh, wow.
And that's the most shows I've ever done for a production.
Okay. And that's through a particular theatre company?
Yeah, it was through a community theatre company.
Yeah, sweet. Are you part of one now?
Yeah, I do YABC, which is Young Australian Broadway Chorus. They are massively widespread.
Okay.
And it's basically a pyramid scheme.
Okay.
So you start at the bottom and you got to take time to work your way up. And because I only started at the start of last year, I'm very low on the pyramid.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's really, really nice.
It's really good. I do a show every 6 months, so that's good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they put on 14 shows in 2 weeks. And so if you're at the top of the pyramid, you're doing 14 shows in 2 weeks, which is crazy. Oh one of my best friends just got promoted to the top of the pyramid. I'm so proud of her.
Oh, my gosh.
Shout out to Rose. Love you.
That's a lot of shows.
I know.
Heavens.
She's going to die during exam season.
My thing, and this is, oh, my gosh, this is from a radio show, Chrissy, Sam and Brownie, which is not on anymore, but Brownie always used to ask actors, how do you learn your lines? So how do you learn your lines?
I learn my lines through practice. I rarely ever just like sit down and learn them.
Yes.
I'll learn them through actually going through the scene.
Okay.
And just through the rehearsals.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever sat down outside of rehearsals to learn lines.
Rather than like a rote learning kind of thing, it's the
I just kind of pick them up.
Yeah.
That's just
so
something
good.
that my brain remembers.
Oh, I'm so bad at it.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at remembering lines. Moving on to, I guess, quite a key topic generally for your age group as well is social media and technology. It's, I guess in your age you've been born with these, surrounded by these things. So in terms of staying connected with friends and family, you mentioned that you use social media to keep in contact with friends. With family, is that more face-to-face or do you...
It's a lot more face-to-face, but we do have a family WhatsApp group.
Love that. Yeah.
So most of my family hasn't met Daisy yet, but they've seen her on the family WhatsApp.
So good. That's really, really nice. What social media platforms do you use most? Like there's so many.
I use TikTok the most. Okay. I love my short form media.
Okay.
Just scrolling 30 seconds.
So if you're in America, they lost TikTok for about a day.
Yeah. They were like, oh no, 15 whole hours without TikTok.
And yes, and a lot of people rely on TikTok for income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for those people.
Oh. My friend, Lady Amanda, who's she lives in the States and she's got a podcast, G'day from the USA.
Yeah.
And she's on TikTok as well. So she gets a lot of income from TikTok. So for her, it was like a day of
just pure stress.
Because we talked about it previously and what happens. Is it going to actually happen?
Yeah.
And it did for a day. And I guess, how do you feel about the role of social media in today's world? Like,
I think it can be a really good thing.
Yeah.
Like staying connected with people who live far away.
Yeah.
Like it's unattainable for me to see my friends every single day, but I talk to them every single day.
Yes, yes.
But it's also presenting a lot of new issues, like AI, terrifying.
Yeah.
I saw this quote on Instagram. It said something along the lines of, I don't want AI to be doing the creative stuff. I want it to be doing the laundry and dishes so that I can do the creative stuff. And I thought that was really impactful.
Yeah. I agree, because I think it has its place to support learning or friendships or however you're using it. But it's I don't know.
It needs to be legislated. It needs to be in.
And who's in control?
The law. Yeah. Not you.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't detract from learning for students too, because
ChatGPT. Never touched it, never will.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think it, like anything, even pre social media and things get abused. Mm-hmm. So if people are using things in the right way,
which they never will.
But it's the people are the problem.
Yeah.
Not the things. And what's one tech gadget or app you couldn't live without?
Google. I would absolutely fail school.
You crack me up, River.
It would take me so much longer to do my homework. I have all these questions that I have to answer for my theatre studies class, and it's like, what year was this published?
Yes.
That year. Easy peasy. Wrote it down. Done.
I can't even imagine. I don't know what I did pre-Google. Like, what did I, when I had a question about something, I would be left wondering, I guess. I don't know. Google it's right there.
It is. It's instantaneous.
IMDb, for me, IMDb is a big thing that I use because I'm always, who's that from? Where are they from? So I spend a good 10 minutes of a movie trying to work out. If I'm at home, I'll Google it, but in a movie, I'll just have to sit and stress it out.
Yeah.
Google, I think that is one that I think most people probably could not do without.
I know, I was thinking, like, what could I not live without? And my first thought was, like, I would literally fail school. I'd be a high school dropout.
You'd have to go to the local library and look at the... Yeah, that's what we used to do.
Yawn.
Oh, I know.
I used to read books avidly as a kid. I was such a big
you were
reader.
A massive reader very early too.
Yeah, all throughout primary school. And then I got a phone.
So do you read much now?
No, I do not.
Oh.
I could not pick up a book and read it.
River. Really?
I love audiobooks though. They're great.
Yes.
Audible.
So delightful. That's interesting because I remember that about you, that you were reading quite, I guess, advanced books for your age, but then you just don't read now.
If I was to read, I'd read kids' books because They always have a happy ending. I always watch kids shows. They have the same arc every single time. It's great. I know what's going to happen.
Everything turns out
happy in the end. Adult shows, everything's sad at the end.
Everything sucks.
There's enough sadness in the world.
I agree with you there, River. Absolutely. I guess passions and causes. What are you most passionate about in life, or causes that you believe strongly in?
The thing I'm most passionate about is the treatment of disabled people in society.
Okay.
It's not even like the way that, like, what would people in a wheelchair do if they live in an apartment and there's a fire?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to use the elevator.
Yeah.
Like, it's more things like you would immediately judge someone if you saw that they were disabled and maybe be like, oh, maybe they can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas instead of asking the person who knows their boundaries and limits so much more than you do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's the little things, like the mentality. I think it's... Hey, Tilda.
Do you think as a society we've become more inclusive?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I think there's still more inclusion to become.
Way to go. Yeah, I agree. And with your generation now, what is the name of your generation?
Gen Z.
You're a Gen Z. Oh, how is she? Oh, she's so gorgeous. Oh, little treasure.
What's wrong?
Very distracted by River's puppy. Oh, my God. She's such a treasure.
She's turning 4, February 13th, the day before my best friend's birthday.
So sweet. I can't even deal with her cuteness.
My sweet, yeah.
So, River, how do you think your generation is different from previous generations?
I think Gen Z is a lot more passionate and vocal about things.
Yes.
Like, in my opinion, previous generations were much more easily able to ignore the stuff going on in the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you didn't want to hear about something, you just wouldn't read the paper.
Yeah.
You know? But nowadays it's everywhere.
Absolutely.
And so you have to form an opinion on it. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
Also, we're more aware because of that.
Yeah.
So I'm much more aware of, like, social issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. The awareness then comes action.
Yeah, exactly.
That is very, very true. What do you think the biggest challenge facing young people today is?
I think, well, obviously climate change.
Yeah.
And again, linking back to my passion, the mental health crisis. I don't think I've met a kid that doesn't say, oh, yeah, I'm really anxious about this. It's just so much more prevalent.
Yeah. Where do you think it stems from?
I
agree with you 100%. But, yeah, where do you think it stems from?
I think that maybe it's always been like that and that just people didn't have a way to put it into words.
Yeah.
They didn't understand the feeling and so they pushed it down.
Yeah.
Whereas kids nowadays are more like, yeah, I feel this way. What do I do to fix it?
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing, but it also can lead to self-doubt as well.
Yeah,
You're
true.
Oh, but people around me have it so much worse. This stupid little feeling that I have is silly, you know? Which is a thing throughout history as well, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that's improving. And it doesn't discriminate.
And there's no resources.
No.
Not enough resources.
No, not at all. And it does span from young to old.
Yeah, it does.
It's all the way through. Yeah, absolutely. And it's something I think that I guess our leaders need to be acknowledging a lot more than they do.
Oh, actually, the Aussie government has recently put in a 7-year plan to help aid autistic people.
Okay.
Which I think is so good. I read it. I read an article on it and it was really good.
Okay.
They spoke to autistic people. They formed a committee about it. So they ran everything past them. I think it's good. Improvement.
That's good. That's very good. Are there any changes you would like to see in the world in the next 10 years?
Actually, against climate change would be my number one as well. Because just like we only have one planet.
For sure.
Like you can move to Mars, but it'll never be the same.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and I can not now remember this quote that the other day is it's not your planet to use, it's your future generation's planet that you're actually borrowing it from them. Because it's, I think we've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Most definitely.
Oh, River, I love your insights because without quoting ridiculously, the children are our future, is that you're in the mix of it. You've had the biggest mix of school and trial and error in that high school year. You know, the 7 to 12 is it probably feels twice as long than it should.
Oh, yeah.
But I love your insight in things. My next segment is my very standard Curious Corner, where we ask random questions about our guests. Now, I wonder if this will align with what your folks have answered to this. Can you recall a time where you just couldn't stop laughing about something?
The thing is, my dad is a very funny person, so I laugh, and obviously I genetically have that as well. So I laugh at my own jokes a lot. I'm laughing a lot, and so there's no one real specific time that I can think. Yeah,
You just couldn't stop.
I really just couldn't stop because it's all the time.
Yes.
Actually,
I
do have time. A couple of weeks ago, my friend, we were at a party and we were all a little bit tipsy. And my friend Atlas has a very strange laugh.
Okay.
And so they were laughing and I was laughing. So they kept laughing.
But often the thing you're laughing at, that disappears and then you don't know why. You can't stop. That's the best type of laugh,
that's
I reckon.
Best type.
Now, my next one, I've had some really clever answers over the time. If you could have any superpower for a day, what would it be?
I would teleport. Love to see Paris. I could go see Broadway.
New York.
Straight up. Immediately.
Yes.
Quickly before
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. Before Trump gets in, but he's
teleport.
in already.
Actually, I have one person that did answer teleport, which you probably haven't listened to an episode. But yes, that's very, very good. Now, my next one, name 5 people you would invite for dinner and why. So this can be family members or people you would never likely to meat that you could just sit at the same table.
I think if I was to cause the most chaos, which I do tend to do, just ask my parents, I would invite Donald Trump, Kamala Harris.
Oh, my goodness.
Who else likes to chat?
Oh, gosh.
Hillary Clinton.
Yes. Hillary Clinton, yeah. Very political people for your age.
Yeah.
Your choices.
I would love to know what they think.
Yeah.
I have to be like, why are you so ridiculous, orange man?
Make America great again.
Oh my God, like it was ever great.
Oh my gosh. And I guess a lot of people tend to go with that question, celebrities, but you've gone political. Yeah. I like it. If you could choose, now I really struggled to answer this one. I don't even think I answered this one for me. But if you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room, what would you choose and why?
The Darth Vader theme song.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and that's another interesting. I don't think you've mentioned yet. The Darth Vader song.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just because I think it would be so funny. Just every time you walked into the room, bum, bum, bum.
Bad news has just entered.
Exactly.
I love that. Now, I do know you do cook some things. So this one here, signature dish to cook.
Not really a dish, but I do make yum yum balls or rum balls.
Yes.
And everyone loves them.
Delicious.
And I love them. And I end up eating most of them.
So what's your secret ingredient with them? So is this the condensed milk, crushed biscuits?
Yeah. Yes, it's not a secret ingredient. It's just like I like making them. I get to
sticky
smash the
hands.
biscuits.
I can't
I don't like
sticky
that.
Hands.
Gloves.
Do you?
I wear gloves.
I might try that.
I can't stand it.
I can't stand the stickiness of the whole. It just gets worse and worse the more you roll them all.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, I like that. Now, this one, thinking about your favourite fictional character, if you could swap lives with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and what would you do?
Ooh. I did have an answer to this, but I think I might change it.
I was going to say Donald Trump, but he's not fictional.
He's not. Oh, we wish.
He might be.
He might be.
It's just a figment of our imagination.
Maybe he's just AI, Jodie.
He could be just AI. No one looks like that normally. Oh, my gosh.
I would be Luke Skywalker and use the Force.
Use
a
the
lightsaber.
Force. Oh.
That'd be so cool.
Oh, my gosh.
Or like Scarlet Witch from Marvel.
Oh, yes.
I love her.
Yes.
I love Wanda.
Because you do have... Oh, yes, I do. Is that who you're talking about? I do like her.
I love her.
You do have I guess, in interest, you have the sci-fi side of
I love
movies
sci-fi.
and TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those.
The sci-fi action
Now, DC
movies.
Marvel. Which? Marvel.
Every time, every step of the way.
Marvel every time. Oh, my gosh.
To be fair, I've watched a singular DC movie and I did enjoy that. It was the Robert Pattinson, the Batman.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed the twist. It was good.
Yeah, that choice of... I can't unsee him as Edward, from Twilight. I can't unsee that.
I've never seen Twilight.
Oh, have you read the books?
No.
Oh, you must. Or maybe the time has passed. Audiobook it.
Time has passed.
Oh, I swore I never would see any of the movies until I read the books because I didn't want to know what anyone looked like. You know that.
I already know what they
that
look
book
like.
versus movie thing. It's like, oh, that's not what they look like.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
In my head.
My mum made me read all the Harry Potter books before we watched the movies.
Yes.
She's like, you can't watch the movies until you read the books. I was like, okay, Mum. And as she says, one of her proudest parenting moments was when we got to the end of the first Harry Potter film and I sat back and went, the book was so much better.
Oh, for sure.
And she was just absolutely
She's at peace.
so enthused. She was like,
that's still my favourite, the first one.
The first actually movie. Achieved parenting.
Yeah. The book is better. Always better. I can't think of a time where it hasn't been.
Yeah.
Now, River, we were talking about this before we started, was as I've injured myself several times over the years, I'm always so curious about other people's injuries. Can you tell us about a time? Have you got the genetics?
I'm so very accident prone.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I just get distracted to where I'm walking and I've walked into door frames, I've walked into tables, I stub my toes on the legs of the couch and they are metal. It hurts every single time.
You know what? Little toes, I don't know, they're there just for pain.
They're just for pain.
What's a doozy? What's a real doozy?
There's been a couple doozies.
Oh.
One time I was riding my skateboard with my best friend and my skateboard stopped and I did not. I went absolutely flying. I crashed down and went, this is how I die because I could hear a car coming up behind me.
On
I
the
didn't
road.
get hit by a car. They stopped.
Wow.
And the lady got out and she was like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "I'm fine."
Oh,
anyway,
my gosh.
I got back up. I had like a whole side of my body was a bit scraped up. But I got back up. I got back on my skateboard and we headed off.
Just keep going.
I didn't even want to tell I remember not wanting to tell my parents because I knew they'd make a fuss. And it didn't hurt that much. It was fine.
That'll buff right out.
It'll buff right out. It did. I don't still have the scars from that.
Oh, River, I'm so sorry you've inherited. Your dad doesn't really have anything.
No.
Mum? Does she have any kind of clumsy things?
No, not really.
Oh, well, maybe it's just skipped. It skipped a generation. Now, the whole past question, if you could have a night with any one of your choice, my dear River, oh my gosh, who is it going to be? Please don't say Donald Trump.
Oh, yuck.
Who would it be?
Rather die.
Or is there's several? Some people have several.
This is interesting. I had this conversation with my ex-boyfriend.
Oh.
And we both said Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Yeah. He's lovely though,
He's so lovely. Him and Zendaya, they're so gorgeous. They recently got engaged.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm so happy for them.
Yeah. I don't know. They're hooking up with the Tom Holland. Okay. I know someone else, my daughter's friend, she's a big Tom Holland fan.
As she should.
What's one piece of advice you would give to someone younger than you?
Oh, I would say don't stress too hard about grades.
Yeah.
In primary school.
Yeah.
In years 7 and 8. They don't matter. So long as you're somewhat understanding the content. Yeah, don't stress too hard about them. They really don't matter.
You've just been through so much, River, on so many levels. And I guess just moving on to reflection and life experiences. Looking back on your life so far, what's one accomplishment that makes you so proud?
This is kind of a bit sentimental, but like just making it this far.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Like with the shit I've been through, making it this far it's been really challenging. And I'm so proud that I can sit here today and say, yeah, I'm really happy with my life.
Yeah.
I'm happy with my friends.
Yeah.
I love my parents. My mum's my best friend. She loves my friends and I love her.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's really good, because I think to have gone through everything that you've gone through so that you can sit here now and look at all of that.
Yeah.
And know, oh my God, I did it.
Crazy.
At the time, it was pure hell.
Yeah.
At many different points. So life's turning points for you, River. Is there any points in your life that were quite crucial to you, like a turning point, any events or anything through your life that changed things for you?
I think leaving my second high school. When I left there, I felt so much more free, and I got to spend like Mum took 3 months off work just to spend time with me. And I got to spend that time with her.
Yeah.
And even though I was close to her, we got closer and we spent so much time. We did so much fun stuff. And I also got to unpack all of the stuff that happened there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without worrying about doing homework and grades and stuff. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Is there anything in your life you regret?
I regret not punching that one boy in the face.
It's not in your genetic makeup, my dear.
Yes.
Definitely not.
Should have done it.
As someone, that quote, you're a lover, not a fighter.
I could be both.
Can you? Good. Good job. Good job. Do you have any job?
Yeah, and then I'd run away.
Give it a red hot go.
Wuss, but
yeah. So when you look back to your, I guess, diagnosis, would that have been a turning point for you?
Oh, absolutely.
A moment of realisation?
A turning point is actually I've been seeing a couple of different psychologists since I was like 8.
Yeah.
Because I was a really anxious kid.
Yeah.
And right after my ADHD diagnosis, I went up to my therapist at the time and said, look, I think I have autism. I've done all this research and I would like to tell you the reasons why. And she immediately dismissed me. She went, no, you don't. It's just the ADHD. And then it gets worse. A year later, she comes back to me with my mum, sits me down and goes, River, we think you have autism. And I sit there and go, yeah. And she goes, don't you have any big feelings about this? I go, no, anger, maybe.
Yeah.
I came to you with this.
How bizarre.
Oh my
so
God.
Same one.
Yeah, the same one, the same lady. Anyway, I left her and now I'm with my current therapist and I love her to bits.
How often do you go?
Once a month.
Yeah, cool.
It used to be like once every couple of weeks.
More frequent,
when it was really hard. But
Yeah. And is it something that you feel is really helpful to you?
It's incredibly helpful to me.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a fairly self-aware person, so I know what my issues are, it's good to just have a safe space to say them out loud.
Yeah.
Have a chat about them and think. And she gives me different perspectives, like different solutions that I didn't think of.
Yes.
Which is always good.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. You can relax now. I've come to the end. But River, I appreciate your honesty and I guess reflections on your life, because it's not easy to do something like this at your age. You know, a lot of people are probably, how old? They're 40 plus who I interview. So, and I was so excited when your mum mentioned it. I'm like, of course. It was 100% a yes. So I thank you so much for your honesty. If there's anything you want to cut out, let me know.
Of course.
And I cannot wait to upload this bad boy, and let's make it a stats off. between your 3 episodes. Let's
You've all
see.
got to tell your friends about this specific episode.
Share.
And not my mum and dad's episode so that I can get more listeners.
Oh, my God. Thank you, my beautiful River. And Miss Daisy, who is just asleep. And we're not very exciting over here. She's a treasure. Thank you, my dear. See ya.
Bye.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much to River for sharing her stories about school, her diagnoses, and her passion for musical theatre and acting. It was so lovely chatting with her new puppy by her side. To have the experiences that she has had, I love that she acknowledges the incredible and unwavering support from her family, especially her mum. The diagnosis of ADHD and autism was not a negative for her, it was more affirming. I think you will all agree that River is an inspiring young person who is destined for big things in musical theatre. As we always do, let's give a shout out to Mr. Tom Holland for River. And I honestly can't wait to see what she achieves and maybe Broadway is in her future. Tune in to our next episode where we get to hear more lives worth telling. Don't forget to check out and follow us on your socials. And if you love what you hear, please rate and review us on your favourite podcast app. Of course, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with us through the Facebook page or Instagram. If you or a friend or a family member would like to come on the show, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us. And if you want to grab yourself some merch, jump onto Redbubble to check out our products. Thanks for listening to Lives Worth Telling. See you next time.